Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Fenix BC26R bicycle headlight. Although Fenix is best known for their everyday and tactical flashlights, they've also dabbled in the bike light market. What we have here today is their latest bike light, the BC26R. And you can see it combines a lot of their expedient LEDs and flashlight technology into a nice competitive bike light. Now we received an early look at this light, which is why we don't have the retail packaging. Just have the light and the mount, but we do expect them to have the proper box, USB cable, and all the other things you'd expect with a light. Now in terms of specs, the retail price on this is $89.95, so pretty competitive for the 1600 lumen output. You have 5 different modes, multiple constants, a flash mode. You have their quick release mount, which is their proprietary design. Simply slides on, and then it's a toolless design, so simple cam lever, put it on, and then twist it into place. It has a replaceable 5000 milliamp battery, and that's the coolest thing about Fenix. As with their flashlights, you don't have integrated designs, which means if you ever want to extend the runtime, you can just carry another battery, or you can swap it out in a couple of years when they start to decrease in capacity. So you get a Fenix branded one, but obviously you can use any equivalent battery. IP68 certification, which is pretty impressive considering it doesn't have an integrated design. You have this tail cap with a little O-ring, and you have a battery status indicator too, so you can always check what the status is before you start riding. In terms of what comes with the box, you should expect to get the mount, the actual light with the battery pre-installed, a spare O-ring, USB Type-C charging cable, and then the standard Fenix box around it. Now let's take a look at the weight of the light. So just the headlight by itself, that's 154 grams, while the mount comes in at 26, so pretty light overall. Now let's go over the fit and finish of the Fenix BC26R. It's pretty obvious Fenix has integrated a lot of their design features from their everyday carry and tactical flashlights. You can see it really looks like a flashlight. You can hold it like a flashlight, especially when the mount is not on there. Has a long, elongated design with a round cross section. The front kind of squares off, so you can see it sort of transforms from round to a little bit squared off. All metal body with this black and then bronze button gives it a really premium look. And the only real plastic here is the tail cap. So on the sides, you'll see basic indicator, 1600 lumens, battery direction. On the other side, you have CE mark and then the non-recycling indicator. You have little streaks along here that give a little bit of contrast and help with the heat dissipation. On top, you have Fenix logo. These little indentations here as well. These almost look like they would light up, but they're just cutouts. And then the button itself, it's backlit with a little LED in the middle. And this is actually a 4-level battery indicator, so green, flashing green, red, or flashing red to indicate the battery status. Really nice feature. You don't have to turn on the light to check the battery. And then the interface itself, very simple. Hold it to turn it on. Press it to cycle through the 4 different constant modes. And then double press to go flash. So you don't actually have to use flash unless you mean to. So you don't have to cycle through it, which is really nice to see. Underneath it, you have their proprietary mount. You can see it's just a slide-in design. The charging port under this nice thick gasket, which is a USB Type-C. And then really the best feature about this is the removable battery. So you have a removable tail cap here. That's one reason why this is a little bit longer. So like any flashlight, you can pop this out. They include a Fenix branded 5000 milliamp battery. You can use any battery as long as it's 21700, and you can use an 18650 with an adapter, so it'll fit in here. The other nice feature here is they do have these little cutouts on the side. So, and to help with the side visibility, you can see these little cutouts actually become illuminated when the light's on. Otherwise, the LED is recessed, so when you're on the bike, even when you're directly above it, you won't see the light unless you really come up in front of it. Now let's take a look at the output of the Fenix light. There are 4 different constant modes: a very dim low mode, medium, high, and then the full turbo, which is the 1600 lumens with 3.5-hour runtime. So runtimes across the board are pretty good, especially with that 21700 battery. And they're very easy to tell apart because they have such big jumps. There's a single flash mode with 600 lumens, which is great for daytime riding. Now the low mode at 50 lumens is very dim, so not something you really ride with at night. Although medium does work, we generally rode with the high or the turbo, as the runtimes are large and the beam has a nice wide beam to it, so you can see the side of the road is really illuminated, especially in that turbo mode. So the light is a lot brighter than the 600 lumen would make you expect. Now let's compare the Fenix with other lights on the market. We have a couple options for Magicshine here, an older Fenix model, as well as the Moon Sport Rigel series. So at the lower end of lights, you have more compact ones. This is 700 lumens, so you can see smaller, dual LED. What's really trick about the Moonlight one is that you can actually flip the lens. So you can see it has a very simple deflector. You just pop this off. It has little tabs on there, and then you can run this upside down. So a very cool feature, and lets you run it upside down or right side up. This also has some cooler features like smart sensors with the ambient light sensor, and then a Garmin mount, which is something we really like to have seen with the Fenix. Hopefully they do that with the future models. But you can see the Fenix feels a little bit more premium with the all metal construction, and it has a removable battery, which no other lights on the market really have. More direct comparison is some of the Magicshine lights. They both use the 21700 battery, but the difference here is because the battery is removable, on the Fenix, it is bigger. So you have to have that tail cap, and it's not as well integrated. But obviously the removable battery is a great feature. Again, Magicshine has the Garmin mount and the simple deflector on there, which is something we would have liked to see on the Fenix, but with the Magicshine, it's not reversible, so you can't run this upside down. It always has to be right side up, otherwise you're causing more glare. Magicshine also has their Ulti series, and this actually features a DRL, which is something really cool to see on the Fenix light, and this lets you run this during the day without running down the main battery. Again, Garmin mount, non-replaceable battery, and otherwise very similar form factors. The Fenix is just slightly longer. We've also reviewed their previous light, the BC21R. So a very similar form factor. They're both USB Type-C, same mount. You can see it's a little bit wider with the 26R and more premium looking with the all black construction, this bronze looking button. They've also improved the side visibility with that little cutout, which was not available on the other light. So now you can actually see it from the side. And the tail light, the battery removable component here, instead of having this whole body sort of rotate out, with the 26R, they've just made a simple tail cap. So this one you just rotate it off like you would do a flashlight, while on the 21R it was a little more concealed. So kind of cool, but not as premium looking. And then if you need more power, if you're doing mountain biking or gravel biking in the dark, you want to go up a little bit more power. This is 3200 or about that. And you can see 6 LEDs, really big for an all-in-one design. Still has a modified Garmin mount with a little bit of a alteration to make it a little more stable. And it's just massive, right? So comparing the two, you can see it's 2 of these essentially to accomplish the same amount of power. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the Fenix BC26R. What we like about it is that it has a USB Type-C interface, so it's really easy to charge. You can use your existing cables, and it's one of the few bike lights with a replaceable battery. So it really makes it future-proof. If the battery degrades over time, you don't have to throw the light away. You simply swap in a battery. It also has a premium metal body with that backlit button, so it really looks high-end. Some of the cons for the light is the fact that it does use a proprietary mount instead of a Garmin quarter-turn style mount. So that means you can't really put this on your out front mount. You have to use the quick release mount that's provided. It also has a long form factor due to the non-integrated design, so it's not quite as compact as equivalent lights. And it has a non-directional beam, so there's no beam cutoff. And it has a fair amount of glare, so you're going to want to tilt it downward when you're riding. Taking everything into account would give the light a 9.2 out of 10. It's a nice, well-built, and future-proof bike light. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.